Hey guys, welcome to our first podcast, episode 1. It's me and Jared today. In the future, we might have other people, but for now, it's going to be us two that you're stuck with. And just to summarize what our podcast is, it's pretty much going to be a CSGO podcast. That's all you're going to ever really see us talking about. You might be asking what credentials we have. Answer to that, none at all.
Just fans.
Just
Just
fans,
shit
honestly.
fans.
People have played the game for a while, have watched the pro scene for a while. We somewhat understand what we're talking about. Uh, yeah, pretty much. But as of today, the group stage of the major just wrapped up. The 8 legends have been decided, and we are going to talk about the CS:GO scene mainly revolving around that. So like the playoffs, just our personal opinions on certain things that are happening right now with the scene, and yeah. First topic, a pretty one-sided topic, honestly, from what I've seen. The new ELO system, the new major ELO system. It's worked really well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know what? I really think this new system it's probably the best system that the major has ever had because like there's no more of like what would happen during like the Krakow major, for example, where like that phase team with Alu and Kyo, the one that was like number 2 in the world, just
Mm-hmm.
because they lost 3 fucking best of ones, they got banged out of the tournament. Now, like in a system like this, you actually saw there was legit like there weren't a lot of like crazy upsets. There wasn't like I wasn't scratching my head over like who got banged out of the tournament and who made the playoffs. It was all pretty good. Like I really liked that.
Yeah, it definitely got some more like fair matches. Like just looking back, like there were a lot more like closer fair matches, especially a lot of the middle of the table teams. Um, like Ents had a few good matches in there. They We'll get to them later, but they had a few good matches in there. A lot of those middle of the table teams had those close matches where like, all right, these teams are kind of clumped up in their skill level. Let's see who comes out on top. While you still have Astralis, who is obviously one of the most dominant teams in the world, getting their some easier matches. So the lower tier teams playing against them had to really prove themselves. They don't just get this free little slip through. They actually had to play those top rated teams. Those top rated teams kind of did their own thing. Yeah, but the elo system it just really made it a lot more balanced in my eyes.
It's just fucking legit. Like when a team loses, you're like, you know what? Fair play. They lost in a fucking best of 3. There's no way. You know what? Like that's the thing that I didn't really like about best of ones, especially in the major, because the major was the only one that had that dumbass fucking format where you'd only
Mm-hmm.
play best of ones in the group, and that would decide where your playoff, like where you were in the playoffs, and if you made the playoffs. Like that was so bad, man. Seeing teams like you know FaZe and Astralis and like teams like that are really good teams, but just because they lose a fucking map, they get banged out. That I
Yeah.
don't like that. But so I'm really happy with this new format. I think it's really
Um.
good.
Yeah. Just on the flip side of things, the one thing I didn't like coming into this was this sort of team rating system. I don't know if you knew how this worked, but like pretty much going into the group stage, it happened in the major qualifier too, where the teams would rate each other from 1 to
Yeah, it was like
16.
it was seeding. Yeah, they had
Yeah, the
seeding.
seeding. They would rate themselves, and because of that, a lot of the teams like a Vanguard, they got screwed over. And I think they personally played good. It's a little upsetting that they started losing the best of threes, which I mean, if you can't win a best of 3, you don't deserve to be in the majors. But I think they played good, and I think they were kind of screwed over by that seeding, and they kind of played in that way. But that's just one example of a team that like the seeding could have really been a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, like, uh, I looked at the seeding, and to be honest, I didn't think it was that bad. Like, only in the best of ones was it kind of shit. But besides that, once people started winning and losing games, it basically just all got mixed up. So it to me, it didn't really matter. Like the only teams it kind of mattered for were like Astralis and Liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's and like and like the seeding kind of fucked over some good teams. Like I can't say it was all like unfair. Like
Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think The teams, I think at the end of the day, a lot of the teams that deserve to lose got eliminated. A lot of teams deserve to move on, went on. Um, Definitely made pick'ems a lot easier. Speaking from
Yeah.
I think I pretty much hit all my pick'ems other than NRG, and my 3-0 was still right. It just didn't get the 3-0, but they still moved on. But whatever on that. Definitely an interesting system. But speaking of those teams that lost, a few of those headlining teams, moving on to the next topic, a few of those headlining teams that lost, I think we could start off with probably the biggest surprise, losing in the group stage of the major, NRG going 0-3, being upset by complexity at the end there. That was rough.
Yeah, I mean that was the roughest fucking game. Like they the weird thing about NRG in this tournament was like every single like tournament that they played, they were all fucking close. Like even in the
Mm-hmm.
qualifier, when they played Tyloo, they were both like 16-13, 16-14. Both of the complexity games, I think they both went to overtime, didn't they? Yeah, they both did.
Yeah.
They both went to overtime.
And on top of that, I'm looking here now. Their first match, best of one versus Nip, 16-14. Their
Yeah.
second one versus a Vanguard, 16-13. Another close one. They've just all been like right there. They've been close.
Yeah, you know what? They've been close, which like I mean, hey, that's kind of good, but you know what? It doesn't matter how close you are. You gotta fucking win some. Like you
Yeah.
can't be like
Especially.
if you look at their entire run through this major, like and through the qualifier stage, they played Windstrike and Vici and Tyloo in the qualifier, and that got them their 3-0. So that doesn't tell me anything about how good they
are. Yeah, 100% agree.
I think they actually played really bad. I thought Tyloo could have fucking beat them.
Yeah, Tyloo played really well actually, surprisingly. I don't think anyone really knew how they'd play, but yeah, just especially from a team that, if you're looking at the rankings, jumped up to 4th in rankings. I mean, I know that's what's the word? It's algorithm based, but still a team that jumps up to 4 in rankings, definitely technically being the number 4 team in the world now above FaZe, should definitely be closing those maps out by a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Plus, like, I know fucking Daps is the in-game leader, but you gotta get some fucking kills, buddy.
Yeah.
We can't go minus like 30 or whatever.
I don't want to say it's just unlucky close games. Like, it's just, it rubbed me the wrong way to have their coach, I'm a pet, talking mad shit about people's map choices on Twitter, but then you go and do things like picking Nuke against NIP, or they played a Vanguard on Overpass. I mean, NRG's been an alright Overpass team, but like, it's just like, come on. What were the complexity maps you gave?
There was another dumb map they picked.
They played Nuke again. And Cash.
Yeah, that was like fuck. I know they're an okay Nuke team, so I think they wanted to play Nuke. But the one that is like unacceptable to me, that like you shouldn't even be taking this fucking risk, is you're picking Inferno into Tyloo. Inferno is like you should not be playing Chinese teams on Inferno. Inferno is so good for these teams. Like look at Vici Gaming for example. No one thought they'd do anything. They beat North in a best of 3 in the last chance qualifier because of Inferno. They beat them twice on Inferno in that tournament.
Yeah.
They beat Fnatic on Inferno. Like they were taking huge scalps on Inferno. Like you cannot be like I know they've won 16-14, but that's just a super unnecessary risk.
Yep,
that's stupid.
It's same with Nuke against Complexity. Like I get you think your Nuke is good and all that, but like you haven't shown to be a good enough Nuke team, and you saw Complexity literally in the first round willing to go to Nuke versus Astralis. Bar the fact that they only put up 6 rounds, just the fact that they were willing to, Complexity is willing to play it. Complexity removed Train, which is one of their shittiest maps, and NRG and all that bad on Train. But Overpass is still there. You've already shown at this point in the tournament that you're willing to play Overpass. Why not pick Overpass? Why even risk Nuke?
They should have. You know what? In that pick ban, Overpass was available, and Overpass is probably NRG's best map. Like, I don't
Probably.
know how complexity is on it. I've never seen them play it, I don't think. But Energy picked Nuke first. They should have picked
Mm-hmm.
Overpass.
Yeah, I agree.
Overpass should have been the first pick in that thing. And then they should have let Complexity pick fucking Cash. Like, I guess they were so scared of them playing fucking Mirage. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Like, that's just stupid to me, man. Like, that was just a bad that was just a bad pick ban.
Yeah. Although while we're talking about NRG, I did tell you there was something I wanted to tell you about a surprise roster move, breaking news in like coming from the last 2 hours.
Who's the
From
source
a
though?
leak, VP Esports. It is all over
Oh,
the
really?
place. Yeah, so it's a legit article. There are reports that NRG did in fact sign Tarek to replace Fugly.
Really? You know what?
Okay, hold on, hold on,
That's
hold on. The assumption is that he's replacing Fugly. More likely than not, that is true, but that's still the assumption right now. It is not confirmed.
I mean,
The signing is
skill wise,
confirmed. Who he is replacing is not confirmed.
if it is Fugly, signing wise, that's like, because Fugly is like the support player on this team. He's not
Mm-hmm.
like the guy who's gonna get the big numbers and everything. I could see it working. I mean, I think Tarek could play like a more supportive role, or one of the other guys could, because I think Daps is a pretty good in-game leader. Like, I feel like he could work with Tarek. He's worked with him before, hasn't he? Yeah.
I
No, I don't think he did
I
actually. He
don't
got
think so.
cut. He got cut for Tarek on Optic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, I feel like he could work with these guys. He's experienced and smart enough. He's, like, he can build these guys up. I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
that's
For
a pretty
sure.
good, like, that's a good pickup. Like,
He's a
there's
major
nothing
MVP
wrong with
for a
that. I
reason.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think Fugly. It could be
All right,
Fugly.
but we
Like,
could.
I could also see it being. Actually, I don't think you can get rid of any of these guys. They're so, like,
Mhm.
some of them are just so fucking good right now.
Yeah.
Like Cirque
I think
and
Cirque had a
and
shit
Breezy.
major, but that's besides the
Yeah,
point.
he didn't have a shit. He did
But
have a shit major,
yeah,
but I think he's just way too good.
we could talk about energy all day. We'll move on for now.
Yeah.
The next O3 in the major qualifier stage, Legends qualifier stage, whatever you want to call it, was big. They went O3. I don't know if this is. I feel like this was a kind of like middle of the ground, kind of like people saw it coming, people didn't see it coming. I feel like
I
people
don't
kind
even
of.
blame him.
Yeah, I mean, you lose Smooya so close to the major. Smooya arguably, actually not even arguably, he is their best player at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
he was.
At least skill wise. You bring it back next. Haven't really seen much of next. This team hadn't really done much with that lineup, because Smooya had been the biggest part of their success recently, dating back to Cologne of last summer. Like I said, I don't like. I personally thought going to this big was not going to do good. 1-3 at best. I didn't think they'd go with 3. I think they would have gotten a map, but they didn't even get a map.
So this team, I didn't think they would be as bad as they were. I thought they would be way worse, but um, just like the I thought what fucking Smuya did was actually really shitty. Like, he couldn't have just like tucked it out for a fucking month and played with them through the major, and then they did all this roster move shit and got next back and stuff. Instead, he had to fucking peace out. Said he
In
wasn't enjoying himself. Like, you know what? Like,
in his
this
defense,
is yeah, okay.
I get that, but like in his defense, he like it was a mutual decision from both of them. He told them what he wanted, and they said they understood that. He made sure Next was free, and that they had a legitimate backup before he left. He'd gone on record and said that in an interview. Actually, he had made sure that they knew what they wanted to do before he left.
I even then, like, I just think like they could have been a playoff team. They could have, if
Maybe.
they had Smuya
Mm-hmm.
and Xanteres instead of Next, they could have been a
Yeah.
playoff team. And you know what? I actually have to give Next didn't even play that bad. Xanteres really struggled.
Yeah, he did.
He
He
did
just
not
didn't
have a
seem
good.
like himself.
Yeah, he didn't really do
Those
that good, and I guess it is only 4 maps, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, but those flashbacks to Space Soldiers being an online team. Maybe it was just Terrace who's an online person.
I mean, you know what? Could be like,
It's very possible.
but I think maybe they want to do like a hard reset. They're probably gonna get into it because God B's a really good in-game leader. He's probably one of the best in-game leaders in the world.
Yeah, as
So
much as I
I
don't
feel
like
like,
him.
yeah, I feel like he could make this team good. He's done it with so many players and so many teams. Like he's just figured it out so many times how to do it. So I feel like he can, make, help this team become a top team again. Like maybe
Yeah.
break top 10 with this team. I don't see them going any higher. I don't think they'll be ever as good again as they were with Smooya.
Yeah, probably not. I think they've kind of missed their opportunity at this point. Short-lived team, in all honesty.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
They had that little Inferno jump glitch spritz back at the major.
The Rat King did himself in.
Then they brought in Smooya. I remember there was
King
a lot of
Rat.
criticism around Smooya. Honestly, personally, don't like him, but by all means, he did great for that team. He did what he needed to, but you know. But yeah, on to the next team. Probably the outside of NRG, the biggest, not upset, but yeah, just the biggest letdown. Fnatic. Like they just, oof. I
They
don't know
look
what's
so
going on.
fucking bad.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. The only reason they didn't go fucking 0-3 is because they played Greyhound in the last round. You're fucking lucky as
100%
fuck to
agree.
play.
100% agree.
You know what? And they got double digits on one of those maps. Like, you know what? When they signed Crims and JW, I was all for the Crims signing. What the fuck are you sending JW to like a 3-year contract for?
Yeah.
That
I
guy
don't know.
hasn't been himself in like 3 years.
Fun fact, I'm looking at it now. In the Greyhound series, he dropped 28 kills.
Yeah,
In
he
all
fucking
defense, it was
played
a 2-0,
diabolical.
but he was the only one who went negative.
And you know what? They lost to fucking, okay, so people who want to play Chinese teams do not play Overpass and do not play Inferno. Those are the two maps they play. Like literally, like
Cash,
fucking every
occasionally,
single.
too.
Yeah, they sometimes play Cash, but they're not as good. But like they're really good teams on these maps for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking weird. And in that game, like it's weird. Like man, like what are these pick bans? It's fucking. This is
Yeah.
NIP. This is when Exist was on NIPs. Pick banning into fucking people's like best maps and shit. Like how like let me tell you this. How you let G2 play fucking Dust? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. It's,
And like it's just like oh my god.
yeah.
And the fact that you lost them also is fucking
Yeah, I just don't.
that's really bad.
Tyler didn't have, I mean, not Tyler, fucking Fnatic didn't have the greatest showing. I think they need to go into a rebuild phase. I think they need to stop trying to recycle old talent.
I think Exist has to go. I think he's
Fnatic
got to go.
has like a mini version of what the French scene is doing right now. They're refusing to let go of the past.
You know what? They started when they brought in Brawlin and Twist, but like, fuck, man, you just got these guys that just don't deserve to be at the very top of the CS scene. Like, I think Exist is a good player, and I think he's an okay in-game leader. Like, I actually do. But I do not think he should be on the best Swedish team in the world, or the second best. I think he should go down to a red reserve or something and try and build up his rep again.
Yeah.
Because I think that the way this guy gets jobs is fucking. I think it's a joke. Like I think, I think he's so lucky that he got that opportunity with FaZe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but let's on to the next team. I'm gonna let you kind of take the reins for this one because this is your favorite team. But Tyloo, they were kind of a complete mystery, honestly, coming into it. No one really knew what to expect.
So I really can't tell how good this team is.
Yeah.
It's so hard to tell right now. They like I think this team could be better than the old Tyloo. But right now, with the LAN, it was just fucking weird, man. They played Energy really close in those two games, as I said. They fucking 16-3'd Cloud9 on Overpass. Like, they fucking just wrecked them. As I said, don't play Chinese teams on Overpass. Fuck. But whatever. They lost to Vanguard in G2.
They beat Vitality.
Yeah, they did beat Vitality as well. I guess fucking Zuyu couldn't carry him
Apparently not.
hard enough, man. Like fuck,
They
whatever.
gave Vanguard series. They got O2'd.
Those maps were so right now. This is their first ever LAN with that team. Like they haven't played like any LANs with the other team. I think they fucking capitulated against G2. I don't know why they let him play Dust. As I said, G2's only map is Dust. Whatever. I guess they banned Nuke. That's fine. I guess they had no choice, but whatever.
Yeah,
I think right now this team could be the best like Asian team that like we've ever seen in this like Counter-Strike so far.
Yeah.
But I need to see how they are at the next couple LANs to determine whether or not that's true. Because I think Bentet's also running what he was running on the previous team, where he's speaking fucking 3 languages at the same time and doing all that shit as an in-game leader. Like, what a mess that has to be, dude. I feel bad. Like, I feel like they're doing so good with what they have to deal with. So, right now, I feel like they could fucking maybe... I don't know, I gotta see them in the next couple LANs, but they could maybe be a top 10 team. Like, the lower end of top 10. I don't see them ever going higher than that. I don't think they're that kind of team.
Yeah, I agree. One more team I feel like we need to talk about, though, just of the losers teams, Cloud9. Ooh, coming off of such in my opinion, it was a small event, but they looked very strong at the E-League Invitational. Whether or not you're the only other teams that were phased big in complexity, they looked good. And they come and literally crash and burn. Like,
well, I gotta say, I don't fucking know. Zelz was diabolical this fucking event. He was so bad. Oh my god, man.
Yeah, he had, I don't know. So you beat Greyhounds. That's the first match they beat Greyhounds. Congrats. 16-11 should be a lot closer. Then you get 16-3'd by Tyloo. Whatever, it could be a slip up, like you said, overpass. Then you get 16-6 by Vici Gaming. Put you at the 1-2 bracket, and you start playing your fucking best of threes. You get gifted a matchup against Furia, a team who by no means is bad, but they just don't have the experience as a team. So you get the 2-1 there.
And one of those matches was 16-2.
Yeah, that was the back. Wasn't that the 16-2 or 16-1, then 16-1, and then like back and forth? Like, and that was on their map pick, I should add. They got lucky with Inferno. Realistically, they should have been 0-2 there. Like, Furia, I don't know what their thing was with Inferno. It was their map pick and how they got 16-1. I don't know. They probably could have picked a better map. Like, at the time, Cloud9 had banned Nuke. Dust 2 was removed. It was Mirage. Like I said, I don't know Furia. Maybe make Overpass. No, sorry. Maybe, I don't know how they played Train. I don't know Furia. Like I said, new team, whatever. 2-1, still not nothing to cheer about. Then you 2-0 Windstrike. Again, not nothing to get all too excited about. Windstrike didn't look great at this event. They had a good few best of ones. And they took you to overtime on your map pick of Overpass. Then you come in to the major stage. You get a 16-3 versus MIBR. MIBR, I mean, they were warming up, 100% warming up, because, like, they've definitely found their form later on. But, like, all right, maybe there's some potential here. Then you get to the next match. God knows what fucking happened here. The 16-0 of the major. The only 16-0 of the major, if I'm not mistaken. Again, it's Astralis, okay, but put on a fucking round. It's a best of one. They're not playing Astralis' best map. It's Train, which is honestly, in my opinion, Astralis' worst map of the maps they can play. Like Astralis isn't one of the best Mirage teams. Like, by no means am I saying they can't play these maps. They're the best team in the world for a reason. They can I think they have a 7-map pool, but like obviously you have some weaker maps, and Train is definitely down there. And you don't put up a single round. It's just unbelievable. Then you get Vitality, Mirage. They played Mirage most of the fucking event. 16-14, whatever. You go to the 1-2. Then you 2-0 a Hellraisers. They were god-awful this tournament. Then you get to FaZe, you get 2-0'd. You almost make a good comeback, but for the most part, it was very one-sided.
So, this team has 2 maps. They have Cash, and they have Inferno. And besides what that Vici Gaming thing says, as I said, don't play fucking Vici on Inferno. Like, those are the only 2 maps they can play. If you look at this entire fucking event, they stomped MIBR on Inferno. they fucking won. Like when they played Windstrike, I think they won. Like, oh no, it was Nuke and Overpass. Whatever. Fucking exception. Windstrike. The Furia game, they beat them on Inferno and Cash. They lost on Mirage. They got fucking killed on Mirage. The FaZe game, they almost beat FaZe on Cash. They've lost 16-14.
Okay, but that scoreline's kind of skewed. Like, I'm gonna try to
And
remain
no, and
unbiased here, but
also
at the same time,
also in the previous game, in the previous time they played them in the E League one, they beat FaZe on Cash.
in all their
So I
defense,
think
yes.
they are a good Inferno and Cash. I think that's the only
I
two maps
think
they got.
I want to add something on that Cash. Their T side so flat. Like, they're good at they're really good at like taking map control a lot on their T side, but they were just walking out into the crosshairs. Like, when you just walk out on Nico, when he is standing still, he is at his fucking best. But if you if you can pressure him, like, I've watched enough FaZe to know that if you put the pressure on him, if you start to, like, make him feel uncomfortable, he will start to show weakness. But if you're just going to let him stand there and fucking click 2 buttons, especially when he has an off, it's over.
Just bangs heads, man. Yeah.
Like, you're not going to win. And in their defense, they got lucky on their CT side. But besides the fact that FaZe looked flat for a lot of their T side, like, they didn't really know what they want to do. They were very indecisive. And luckily, FaZe was willing to eco a lot. I think that scoreline was a lot more skewed than people realized, because FaZe was really willing to eco a lot because they knew they only needed one more round. But it was so, like, Cloud9 especially, like, they play so, like, guessing. Like, they just guess, like, and it works out a lot for them. Like, they guess on what site they think they're going to execute on their CT side, and they stack it, and it just happens to work out for them. So I feel like that could, and there was a few rounds in there where, like, it should have been over. I think FaZe on their match point when they got to 15, the next round Cloud9 was on an eco, and they just barely scraped one out because they stacked A, and it just happened to be that's where FaZe hit, and then the FaZe got a little indecisive at the end. But I don't know.
Yeah, so this team, I think the two best players on this team are Automatic. Clearly, he's the best player on this team. He's actually a really good fucking player. I kind of feel bad he's on this team, but whatever. And Kiyoshima. I think Flush is doing an okay job in game leading. I don't think Zelsis has performed well at all. I don't think he's shown what he can do on this Cloud9 team at all. Like, in every single tournament. Like, yeah, true. But even then, this is like your fucking
chance,
your time to shine. You gotta you know what? No one's expecting you to fucking leap off the server, but like you need to show something. And like
he did in pistol rounds.
In pistol rounds. Yeah. And then after that, he fucking went -19.
They were actually willing to give him the op a few times.
That they shouldn't be doing that. It should be automatic every time. That guy's so fucking.
No, I mean they're double up setups instead of giving it to Flush.
Oh, and they're double up.
Yeah.
I mean, who the fuck else is gonna hop on that team?
Flusha was a little bit against FaZe.
Yeah, like that team's just like they need an in-game leader. They need one.
All right, I
so badly.
We've talked enough about the losing teams. We start looking forward towards the winning teams. We'll just go down the list. We'll hit a few topics of each of the teams. I feel like there's not going to be a lot to talk about from Astralis. But
or Liquid. Like.
Yeah. Actually, I have a few things I want to talk about. And this is just generally speaking. I'll make the comment now. I think these higher rating teams, like the top 3 teams, so Astralis, Liquid, and Na'Vi, I think their winning is overshining the fact that this is by far one of the worst performances from a group of legends I've seen at a major in a very long time. Like, they're not playing good, but these top teams are playing good enough to still outshine these lower teams. I just think every team is not playing on the level they should be for the most part. And that's why you have someone like Renegades who are fucking moving up in the world. But Astralis specifically, I think they've been the most consistent. They're usually consistent. They seem to have decent form. Right now, they look like the best team going in. Obviously, they are the best team going in. But, I don't know. It's still like, I don't trust this. Because if one team finally shows up, I think Astralis could very well lose.
I think that right now, Astralis and Liquid are going to make it to the final. And I think that...
Yeah, that's if you're just going off... Yeah, I agree. If just
like, I literally think that with the teams in the final right now, I think every single team in this final, besides Astralis and Liquid, has not looked good. I think the only team that's looked okay is Renegades.
Mm-hmm.
But I think every other team fucking struggled to get into this fucking
Yeah.
playoff.
On that same, at the same time though, like I was talking about this yesterday with you, it seems like if these teams find their form and they're playing good, yes, because like the potential that we know they have, not just like saying, oh, if this team fucking shows up and bangs heads, which like you can say that with a lot of these top tier teams. But if these teams find their form that we know they can do, it's not like we're asking them to do something we don't expect. I think Astralis and Liquid are showing enough weakness right now where they could very easily get upset in the long run, and I could very well see any of these teams moving on. Maybe bar Ents.
And Renegades.
Yeah, Renegades. Yeah. But at the same time, if Renegades is one of those teams where if they go on the server and bang fucking heads all day, they have a fairly easy path. I guess the only upset would need to be Astralis, which obviously isn't easy, but whatever. But the next team on the list, NIP, they had a little bit of a hiccup, I think, in the group stages. They cut it a little closer than they wanted to, but I think they came off to a very good start. I think they had what it took. They had a very good run in general. Fucking Forrest is doing God knows what to stay at the skill he's been at for so long.
Yeah.
Found the fucking fountain of youth or something.
They've been like, so they had a little bit of a tough time like in the qualifier, but like in the actual tournament, they've been doing okay. Like they lost to Liquid and MIB. Those were their two losses. Like that's not fucking. Those aren't bad losses. Like
And
they beat
Liquid was
NRG.
in a best of one that was close.
Yeah. They beat NRG, they beat Hellraisers, and they beat Vitality. And the Vitality one's a little bit sketchy, but I'm fine with that. Like
they fixed it on the last map. If you saw that last map, they fucking slaughtered them.
Yeah.
Not the last one. Or yeah, the last one.
So the guy who raises the most questions on this team in the playoffs is Dennis.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, like, because he's the opper sometimes.
Mm-hmm,
and
yeah.
I've seen him be very, very inconsistent. He's sometimes he's dropping fucking 30, and the next game he drops 5. Like he's a very, very inconsistent player, which is something that's not very good to have. So in order for them to be a good team, this guy needs to. I think he needs to show up, and if he doesn't show up, sure, they're gonna lose.
If they play on the level of they did today, I could see an Astralis upset. In all honesty, if we didn't make
I could see him getting a map.
Plays Astralis. I don't know. If, like I said, if I'm very adamant on the fact that Astralis isn't playing as good as they used to, not like permanently, like not like they're just in general, like as of right now in this tournament, I don't think they're playing as good as they used to. It just is overshined by the teams they played because the new Elo system, they're getting a lot worse teams for the most part. Because you think every round Astralis plays, they play the worst team of
who did they play
of the teams at the same record.
I gotta see who they played.
They played.
So they played. They had a very easy run.
Yeah, so like I said, they play the worst team at the same record as them because they are the number 1 seed. So I'm not jumping to conclusions yet on Astralis, but I'm saying there is a very good possibility that they get upset because we don't know what they can do right now. I mean, we know what they can do, but we don't know if they could hiccup or not. Because I feel like there's a lot more weaknesses in this Astralis than the Astralis you saw 4 or 5 months ago, like late last year. But yeah, back to Nip. What you're saying about Dennis is very true. I know today alone, I just thought this was funny. But he was like, on one of the maps, I can't remember which one, he was going off. He was like 6 rounds in or something with like, or 11 rounds in with 200 DP, or DP, ADR. Yeah, I don't know why I just said DPI, but ADR. And he whiffed one spray, and everyone in the chat started blowing up on him, like, bot Dennis. Man had 200 ADR 11 rounds in.
Yeah, he did. He had one really good map.
So if he can hold that consistency, it's very possible. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, next team, probably one of not the most unlikely team, but the second most unlikely team being Renegades.
I think this is the most unlikely.
Really?
I think this is yeah. I think
from what we've seen, Renegades. I think what we've seen, Renegades has a better chance. I understand the whole like experience thing in the Ents lineup, which by the way they don't all have experience. Just pretty much all, honestly. But I think Renegades has the upper hand in my eyes. But yeah, I think for Renegades to win this, they got a good enough opening matchup where I could see them winning a match. I don't think MIBR is good enough at this point with the new/old roster.
Hmm.
But I think this is their chance to upset. We saw them get a map on Astralis. They let Nuke by. I feel like that won't happen again. I feel like, I mean, at the same time, they'd probably then pick Overpass, which Renegade still can't play. It's pretty much a kind of, do we want to play our worst map or their best map? It's like,
Yeah.
who knows
There's
really what we want to do.
sometimes it might be worth it to play
But,
your your worst map than their
mm-hmm.
best map because at least you have a little bit of a
Especially when it's a
chance.
team like Astralis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see them upsetting MIBR at least, and like I said, it's
I could
not
see that
out of
too.
the realm of possibilities that they make it to this final. They would need two upsets. But it's not the most. It's not as like we've seen more teams come through the legend stage that have had less of a chance. Like Complexity last year, I think had a much less of a chance. I think when we originally saw Big back at what's it called, Krakow. I think when we originally saw them, they were probably more dark horses than Renegades is in this point in time. So yeah, I think it's technically possible.
So I think this Renegades team has looked like pretty good. Like they've looked pretty good this fucking tournament. Like they, I don't know what it is. Like they took a nap off Dallas. That's pretty fucking legit. Like they they've just been. I don't know. It's I have I don't know. I just haven't seen this from them before. Like I almost feel like this is like a one tournament wonder kind of thing.
It could be.
Like a miracle run, like kind of like Tyloo and Sydney or like some shit like that, or like fucking Gambit in the Krakow major.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
it's just
do.
like go ahead.
I was gonna say I do want to add that of the 8 Legends teams, Renegades is the only team through the group stage in the major to have a negative round differential. They had a
Yeah,
-4
that's
round
kind of weird.
differential, going
That means
three
they've been
one two.
scraped. They've been fighting
Yeah,
to get
they
these
had
wins.
they had a 16-13 against Ants, a 16-14 against FaZe. They got 1-2'd by Astralis. One of those maps they got 16-2'd on. By the way, on Inferno, which I don't think they have a bad Inferno by any means. I just think they didn't show up that day. Like I think their T side was just too flat. Like yes, they've been relying on their CT side, but to be fair, a lot of teams have been relying on their CT side with this whole AUG bullshit. But that's besides the point.
August is so good.
So if they could, yeah, if they could have gotten a few more rounds on their T side, like if they put 5 rounds in instead of 2, then that pistol round for Astralis on the T side isn't as like drastic, and they have more of a chance to get back into that game. I just don't think they got that chance to get back into that game against it. So
Mm-hmm.
like that really fucked up their differential. But I could see a
Mm-hmm.
world where Renegades plays Astralis at a best of 3, the maps being Mirage, Overpass, and Inferno, and they could win 2-1. I see that
I
world.
I can see Renegades upsetting this Made in Brazil team. I don't think they would beat. I don't think they'd beat Nip or Astralis in a best of 3. To be honest, I just
Yeah.
think those teams right now are like just they're so
I agree.
solid in BO3s. I think they could beat MIBR though because they haven't looked that good. Like I know they wanted to throw it all back, but like they haven't looked that good at all. I don't know if they'll pick it up in the fucking playoffs or if they're just like sandbagging and trying to get some strats in, like save some strats or something. But like I could see Renegades beating them. I think this Renegades team looks really fucking
Mm-hmm.
good this tournament.
Yeah. But yeah. Next team, MIBR, the new old roster of MIBR.
The new old roster.
I think personally they didn't look bad. I think they had a little bit of a slow start. I think they definitely look good. They definitely look better than they have in the past with Tarek Stewie. I think Phelps becoming more passive and more of a better support player has really helped him. I think him going off on his little own adventure for a little while and like lower tier Brazil teams really helped him develop as a player, considering he's so young. But I could see a world where they make it to the finals, but I don't. I
So
just don't think they'll win. I don't think they have it in them to win.
no. So the thing that scares me about this MIBR team is they're picking Inferno, and they were fucking so shit on Inferno when they had Phelps. Like when they like the original. Like, do you remember that fucking what was it Malmo where they played against G2 in the final?
Mm-hmm.
And like there was that huge fuck up where it was like Phelps, Inferno, and Banana. Like I don't
Maybe.
think they are a good Inferno team at all. I think the only player that actually shows up on Inferno is fucking Cold Zero, and I don't think anybody else does. I don't think they know how to play the map. I don't think they have proper strats for it. I feel like they should just scrap that map because they could get killed by teams.
Yeah, certain teams that play it well, like they 16-14 to Nip.
They got 16-3 by Cloud9 on Inferno.
16-14 against Nip on their map pick. That was just too close.
They got
They
16-3
got lucky
though.
with a good fucking T half, which isn't common on Inferno.
Yeah, they got fucking lucky in
Yeah,
that
against a
NIP game.
Shao map,
NIP should have had that map, and you know what? They only played G2
Yeah.
and Cloud9 in best of ones, and they played Inferno against G2, and G2 almost fucking. They had like a good T half as well. They could have won that.
Yeah,
And like,
you play a team with a good CT half, or I mean a good CT, you're not gonna win.
and the only reason they actually didn't win that map is because Cold Zero dropped fucking 35 kills.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
man,
Just,
he's so good.
Like, all right. I don't think there's much to talk about at MIBR. It's kind of one of those things where we have to see what happens because we know the players in general have the potential, but we don't know if they will show up.
All right, this is where we rant.
Navi.
So, this playoff series is the biggest question mark out of the entire playoffs right now. This phase, not a sincere series.
100% agree.
Navi they've looked fucking bad, man. Like they've
there's no way in hell, they 3-1, but at the same time, I just want to read all this off. So the 2-0 Vanguard, which is a team that was doing good in best of ones, they really kind of fell flat in their best of threes. I don't think they put up a map in either their best of threes. They picked Dust 2, which, I mean, in my opinion, of Vanguard, it's just Jame at this point. And Jame did not have a good series against Navi. They just had such a bad Dust 2. Like, they didn't know it seemed like they didn't want to know what they did on Dust 2. So that was like, I think Navi winning that overshined the fact that they didn't actually look good on it. They just looked all right. And then they almost gave up Train 16-11, but I wasn't expecting anything. I mean, like, Navi's Train is decent. I think they could have won that. But then they got 0-2'd by a Liquid. They got taken to triple overtime by Vitality on Mirage. Was it Mirage? Yeah,
Mirage.
Mirage. Which, I mean, all right, your best map's not Mirage. I get it as Navi, but you're willing to pick it. You've shown you're willing to pick it because they picked it against Liquid, who actually has a good Mirage. So you're willing to play it, and you got taken to triple overtime by Vitality. And then you got G2 and a 16-7 on Inferno. I don't think G2 is a great Inferno team by any means.
So this team is exactly it's starting to look like it was before they picked up Electronic when they had fucking seized. And that was when Simple literally had to fucking carry these guys.
And he's not. He's not carrying. He's missing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed. I swear I've seen him miss more op shots I've only watched 2 other matches this event. I saw the Liquid one and the Vitality one. I have never in my life seen Simple miss so many op shots.
I think this guy is mega frustrated, and you know what? I think this guy can have a fucking game off. I think he deserves it.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. I'm not calling him out for playing shit or anything like that. I'm just saying he's not hitting his shots, therefore this team will not do good. Because you can't rely on that.
And the sad thing is even though he missed some shots, he still fucking like top ranked every single game and still had amazing numbers. Even though they weren't like what he was getting last year, like god tier, he's still so good. He's still like a top 3 player
for
in the world.
Sure.
He's so amazing. Electronic, he's been struggling.
Oh yeah, he's not the same. When he was in form. I think Flame is doing decent. I think Flame is the only reason they went 3-1 in this event. In all honesty,
and Simple, like fuck man, this guy's just it's like if Simple wasn't on this team wouldn't even be in the top.
Probably not. No.
And fucking Zeus is so bad, man. Like he's just. I'm so sick of it, man. I'm so sick of watching this guy drop fucking 10 kills and go like 10 and 30 or like 8 and fucking 20. That's so stupid, man. Or like 5 and fucking.
He dropped 30 versus a Vanguard.
He dropped 30 versus in 2 maps. This is in 2 maps.
He dropped 25 versus Liquid. That just shows you like how little of an impact he has on a game in general. Because you think in a 2-0 series he drops 30, in an 0-2 series he drops 25. So he's just consistently there.
Yes, and it's like it's just
He dropped
bad, man.
26 in a triple overtime game versus
In a
Vitality,
triple overtime game. That means
which is the
like he
equivalent of almost 2 games.
yes, it
And
is. It's like
then
yeah, it's like
he dropped 18 versus G2, which was like his best single match performance in
that
my
was a
eyes.
good yeah, but that's GT. I'm not even gonna
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I don't know. This team again, it's like that clip. What was it? It was of Edward. You saw that interview clip where like they were talking. It's like, can we just like, can we just get it out of the way now? Is this team planning on staying together? And Edward replies with, "Yeah, we'll try." Like, come on, this team is
dude,
done.
this team is done, man. It's gotta be. You know what? You gotta
And
get rid of
Zeus
Zeus. Zeus has to
is
go,
he's
man.
retiring.
No, dude.
He's retiring.
Oh yeah, is he retiring after his major? Did he say?
Pretty much.
They gotta get Angel. They have to get that guy, man.
I
There's
could see it.
literally
Yeah.
no other choice. They have to get Angel, and they got to get someone else. And you know what? I'd say get Adren. Like fuck it, he's gonna be gone from FaZe soon. Get
Maybe.
Angel and Adren. Adren can do a fucking support job, man. That guy can do a fucking thing. Get rid of Edward and Zeus,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Yeah,
let's
that
and
would
then
be a
let's
good
go.
Navi team, I think.
That would be an amazing Navi team.
But roster moves aside, we'll talk about that after the major. Moving on, FaZe. I'm gonna try to remain unbiased here. I am a very adamant FaZe fan. I think the biggest talking point about FaZe, definitely at this point, like their biggest struggle, Olaf. He is not feeling it. But that being said, today against Cloud9, he had a performance, especially on
True.
catch. He went off on catch. And by all means, like you got to get it out of the way first. Congrats to Olaf. He's still the only player to make every legend, be a legend in every major. He is the legendariest legend.
The legendariest.
But like, he made it work today. I'll give it to him. He played well. I think on Dust 2, it was a little more. He didn't have as much of an impact on Dust 2, but he didn't. He still went positive. He went 15 at 12. He wasn't seeing anyone. He had the second least deaths on the team. So I think that's just a whole not seeing anyone type of performance. But Cash, he was alongside Nico equivalently the most impactful player in that game. If you look at like cast ratings, both him and Nico had a 76.7% rating. He dropped 25 kills. He showed up. He won them the eco round that could have equalized for Cloud9. The one with he had a P250 round in like when it was like 4-2 or something, and he got 2 kills opening up the round for FaZe, winning them that round to allow them to go 12-3. Besides the fact everything that happened afterwards, but he allowed them to go 12-3.
So I'm gonna go fucking off on this team because I actually am so fucking done with FaZe right now. I think first off they need to get Nico off of being an in-game leader. He cannot be one. He can't, man, because their strats, they're fucking lucky their players are so good. Like, you have to agree with me, because some of their T-side strats are a joke. And watching them play Complexity on fucking... If they didn't play Complexity in that best of 3, if that was any other team, they would have lost. Mm-hmm. They would have been out. They wouldn't have made the fucking playoffs. Because that team... fucking almost like they gave them that fucking game. Like
too flat.
They were so fucking bad, man. Like it was just a joke, man. Like watching that Mirage game was so sad. Like they're just running through fucking smokes, like nothing, no utility at all. Like just running through them. Guys are watching them because they're obviously gonna fucking do it. You know, they think like, all right, fucking initiate strat. Nico runs out fucking Palace and gets 3 kills. That's not a fucking strategy, man. Nico. That's a stupid. That's a stupid thing.
I agree. I think their T side has looked very flat on every map. But that being said, I do want to add that they've shown the potential to have good T sides. They show that they can have good T sides, but they've only shown that on Dust 2 so far. Versus yesterday, I think Dust 2 is going to be their pick. I think that's the map they feel comfortable on. Which I'm not saying that means they're gonna have good T sides because that is a very simple map when it comes to that kind of calling. It works out a lot better on Dust 2 than any other map, so that could be very well be the reason why their T side looks better on that map. But against Complexity, they had a 7-8 half or something like that on their CT side of Dust 2, and they came out on their T side and won the game. Same thing here with Cloud9. They 11-4 on the T side of Dust 2. They have a very structured T side, which is not what they have on any other map.
I just think that like this team is.
I agree.
I don't like, to be honest, Sparky. I don't think they'll ever be a championship team with Nico being the in-game leader. I don't think it's gonna happen ever again. The last tournament they won was that Epicenter one, right? The one where they had.
No, they just won. They just won the E-League Invitational.
A legit tournament. Okay. A legit tournament. That one doesn't count.
The last event they won was
Epicenter, right? With when they still had Kerrigan.
Yeah, Epicenter and then Belo Horizonte before that, and then Sydney.
Okay. Yeah, they do not look nowhere near like the phase that was number one in the world could have been a phase year. They look nowhere near that. I think you need to get. He can't be an in-game leader. He's so good when he's not. He's like what he does. He's starting to do what he did in Mouse Sports when he was in-game leader in Mouse Sports. He's starting to sacrifice himself in order to make the team play better, which is fucking what you should never do as Nico. Nico should be playing the game like. He should be in-game leading like he is Stewie 2K. He should be putting everything around him because he is the fucking best player in the world or second best, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm fucking like it's so frustrating.
I agree. And I agree that
after this major, I think two people have to go. I think Adren's got to go, and I think and I think they got to pick up Chris J and a fucking support player.
I don't know if they're in a position to get rid of someone else. They've just been consistently playoffing. I mean, they have a few group stage drops out every now and then, but they've been consistently playoffing. I think before you jump to the conclusion of dropping two, you give one more person a shot and someone who can IGL. They haven't done that
It's got to be Chris J.
If they don't get Chris J, is the move, but
I'm a fucking flip.
Again, besides the point,
I'll be so done.
Roster moves come post major. Jen's got like a 3-month contract or something, so he'll be good through March, I think. But they could just bench him if they want at that point.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like I think FaZe. All right. Again, trying to remain unbiased, I genuinely mean this. I think FaZe is one of the teams that could very well run through the grand final if they show up. If they show that FaZe that kind of appears maybe like once a match for the last few tournaments that they've had. Like if they show that FaZe, they can run through this. They beat Na'Vi. Na'Vi's been struggling. Again, Liquid's been 3-0'd, but I still am adamant on the fact that they don't look the same as they did when they beat Astralis. They're not as dominant. I think that was a honeymoon phase. I think Liquid isn't. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm saying they're not as good,
agree,
and
actually.
I think there's potential for weaknesses to be found, and they can beat Liquid. FaZe has always also been Liquid's kryptonite along the lines.
I just think
I think it's possible.
This first series is moment of truth right now for FaZe.
Yep, they got a lot of days to prep. They need to come out swinging.
Yeah. And this you were right. This team did have a mega honeymoon phase, and also their win against Astralis, like people can say it wasn't the most legit win because did you know that Astralis was gonna pull out of that tournament? They weren't even gonna go. Like they literally the first day with all the delays. Yeah, it was a shit event, and the PCs were shit, and there was a hard out, so people had to fucking leave, and there was just so many problems with the actual event and the PCs and everything that I wouldn't even be mad if Astralis was like, oh, I don't think it's legit.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's one of the reasons why I do want to see them both go to the final and play each other.
I think people rode the Liquid. I think people rode Liquid too hard. I was going to say something else. I'm just going to refrain from saying that. But yeah, moving on from FaZe, we'll go on to Ents. They barely scraped by. I do not expect. I'm just going to be straightforward. I don't expect much from them.
I agree.
I expect a 2-0 from Liquid. If Liquid doesn't 2-0, that just cements the idea more that we just made about Liquid showing weakness. Because Ents' maps I just don't see a world where they can find a pick where they can actually expose Liquid. Like,
Yeah, I think. Yeah, like this Ents team is okay. Like they're okay. That's it. I don't like. I literally have nothing to say about them. They're just like. I think they're exactly where they should be. Like they're
mhm.
ninth in the world. I think that's fine. I think they are ninth in the world. I think they're like ninth through 10th. Yeah. I think that you know what, good on them. They made the fucking playoffs. But sad to say, you're not going to make it any farther.
Mhm. I
Because
just realized the other than NRG, the teams that made playoffs were the top 9.
basically, yeah. And Renegades, I think, right?
No, Renegades is 8.
Are they eighth in the world? Holy shit!
Yeah, North is at 10. Other than NRG,
Gotta,
it's the top 9.
gotta love the world rankings.
Yeah, world rankings are weird, but that's besides the point.
Fucking
Not
stupid.
fucking NRG go 3-0 at one event and they jump to 4th.
Oh, I know.
But whatever.
Renegades make the playoffs and they fucking
Besides
jump
the point,
to
yeah,
like 20
yeah,
spots.
I don't know. But yeah, like we both agree, there's not much to say on Ents. There's not like we all kind of know what's gonna happen. I just don't see any world where they can upset them whatsoever. Their map pools are just kind of too similar. You think Liquid maybe bans what? Train? Yeah, Liquid's gonna ban Train. And
They might
it's
ban
over.
Nuke.
Nah, if they were willing to ban Train against Na'Vi,
Ents has a really good Nuke. Like I think Ents' best map is Nuke. So they are there. I think they'll either ban Train or Nuke.
but Liquid have shown that they're willing to play Nuke, but they have no. They do not want to play Train whatsoever. That's what I've seen from Liquid. They're willing to play Nuke.
True.
So I think there will be. I think Nuke could be a possibility. I see a world where they ban Train because I think that is Ents' best map.
So it's not going to be easy for Ents?
It's not going to be easy for Ents.
Yo, I actually gotta say something though. Fuck Optic, okay? That team fucking sucks.
That was so random.
Dude, I'm so sick of that team. That team fucking like they're so bad, man. You have to admit, man. They probably get paid as much as like the FaZe guys, and they are a joke.
Mhm.
Like them and North are just so sad. It's like it's so sad seeing Denmark just crumble around Astralis.
There was a time where like 3.5 of the world's like top 10 teams were like Danish.
Dude, in like the top 15, there was like four. There was like
Four
three
Danish
teams.
teams.
It was like heroic, fucking, like just all these teams. And now look at them. They're nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Config doesn't even look like a top 40 player.
I
in the
think
world.
with the right moves, you could have 4 legit top 10 Danish teams.
I think there could be 2 top 10 teams. I think there needs
4,
to be
but not full Danish. I think there's enough if you have like maybe like a Swede in there, like Freiburg. Just people just thrown around in there, so not full Danish rosters. Body.
Madi.
Oh, Madi. I think I said body.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, body. Yo, did you see? Wait. You want to talk about that existence team? Did you see that team?
Yeah. Do you want to just save it for after the majors, since we're kind of major?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, sure.
I'll write it down though. But yeah, Liquid last team.
They look okay. They still look.
Yeah, I think we've like thrown in our comments about Liquid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Teams.
We'll see how they do in the playoffs. I think they'll fucking stomp Ents, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think they'll stomp Ents. I think
that if Na'Vi beats FaZe, they'll kill Na'Vi. I think they maybe could lose to
situations. I think it's one of those situations where like if Na'Vi beats FaZe, they lose. FaZe.
That's the thing about Na'Vi and FaZe is so.
We just need to see
right now.
I think if I don't even know what to think.
To be honest, they'll probably make the finals. To be honest.
I think
I think they.
Yeah, I like to be optimistic. I still like. I'm not even being optimistic. I think there is a world if FaZe shows up with Yanko, like they have the time to prep. If they can show up, actually, I want to go back. I meant to say this. Yanko today in an interview in between matches, he was asked, "Have we seen the best of FaZe?" And he said no. And she said, "Do you think we'll see the best of FaZe here?" He says, "No." We will see that in the playoffs. I don't know if he's fucking around. They could be
Yeah.
saving some strats. Who knows?
I mean,
We got 4
I think
days to prep. This is gonna be a very hectic, kind of anxiety-filled 4 days for me. Waiting up to fucking Thursday. I took off Sunday for the major finals, so no matter what happens, I will be able to watch it. I only work Wednesday this week. I'm watching the whole thing, every match. I don't know. It should be interesting. But yeah, let's move on now. Kind of like similar to what we were just talking about, but at the same time not. We're just gonna like look forward to the first round of the playoffs. What do you? We're pretty much, I feel like the best way to do this. I want to go down the list. You give me one thing that each team needs to do, and one thing that each team needs to not do to show up, and or just one thing that needs to happen and one thing that can't happen. Pretty much. We'll just go down the list. I feel like that's the easiest way to do this. But we'll start with Astralis. So you give me one thing that needs to happen and one thing that doesn't need to happen.
like for them to win.
Yeah. And
I
I'll
think
do the same. You could be very general if you want, especially in the case of Astralis. I understand there's not much.
Astralis is so. The only way I could see them. I think they're gonna go straight to the final, but the only way I can see them losing the final is if Dupree doesn't show up. I think Dupree right now is struggling really hard, and I think he needs to be. He doesn't need to be good, but he needs to be a bit better. He needs to be a bit more consistent with what he's doing, and that is basically what will either determine whether they win or lose. Because he's one of the stars.
It's kind of a
basically.
middle ground play.
And whoever says they fucking have fucking 5 top 20 players is full of shit. Because there's a couple guys on that team that don't even fucking deserve. Like Glaive.
I think just other people. Yeah, fuck that. But I feel like that was a middle ground. That's like a thing that can and can't happen at the same time. It kind of lines up.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, when I mean general, like you could literally go. I think Astralis just needs to be Astralis, and what I mean by that is they just need to show up. They need to abuse the hell out of their utility usage. Just fucking brain on kids.
They got to.
Outplay
That's how they
them.
win games.
Yeah, if they get to off any slow start in any map, they risk losing the series. Because if they give up at any point, if they give up a map that they shouldn't because they had a slow start, they're fucked. Because they're not gonna get nuke every time. If Renegades was able to expose Astralis on what was it, Inferno? What did they win on? I think it was Mirage. Renegades went on Mirage. A lot of these teams pick Mirage. If they can take them on Mirage, and that team is not going to let nuke through, because I think Renegades is the least developed map pool of these teams. If any team, say Na'Vi meets them in the finals, and this is just an example. If Na'Vi picks Mirage, and beats Astralis on Mirage, there's not going to be a nuke for Astralis to fall back on, because Na'Vi will ban it instantly, and they're willing to play anything else against them, because Astralis will not pick Dust 2 either. But, yeah. Anyways, Nip. One thing they need to do, one thing they can't do. Go.
They can't pick Nuke. I know Nip really likes Nuke, but they shouldn't play it.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like if they pick Nuke, they're fucked. They gotta pick something else. And Dennis has to show up.
Yeah. In all fairness, I just want to add, I feel like if there is any team to end this streak of Astralis on Nuke, it is Nip.
I still don't think they're good enough on Nip.
I have a gut feeling Nuke's gonna fall through though. It's just a matter of whether or not Astralis wants to play it. It might be a third map. You say whether or not Astralis wants to play it. Yes, they're undefeated on it, but if you watch it, they pick wisely. They don't play Nuke against teams who can play Nuke often.
True.
So it should be interesting. I could very well see it falling to 3. To the decider map, which would be sick. I would love to see a Nip. I think that's how actually. I feel like if Nip upsets Astralis, this is a bold prediction. I feel like Nuke is in that pool somewhere. But besides the point, Renegades. One thing, or actually, I didn't go for Nip. All right, so Nip, I would say that I was just ranted a little bit. I wouldn't say that was my goal for Nip. But Nip, I would say one thing they need to do to beat Astralis, they need to fucking. I guess I still kind of agree with it. They need to outsmart them when it comes to map picks. I think if they get the right map picks, they could very easily do it. One thing they can't do what they did against MIBR. They need to do the opposite of everything they did against MIBR. They need to play to their strengths. They need to not their opponent's weaknesses. Because I'm pretty sure Inferno was in there, and they played Inferno, and it didn't go well. And I know that was MIBR's pick, but like still. Yeah. But Renegades. Go.
They gotta pick Inferno.
They gotta pick Inferno.
They gotta pick Inferno.
Renegades will fucking own MIBR and Inferno.
I don't really have anything to say. I don't really know about those teams.
Yeah.
They're both very questionable, so I have really nothing to say about those ones.
Right. I'll take over for these then. I think Renegades, they need to, in this time off, this 4 days, they need to strengthen their T-sides. They've been so reliant on their CT side comebacks, and they're very heavily reliant on the AUG. I'm not faulting them for that. If it works, it works. But you're not going to get away with that every time. You need to develop your T-side more, get a few more rounds on your T-side, and it'll be much easier coasting on your CT side. Because as soon as you start out on fucking CT side, if you can't get your economy going on the second half of a T side, if you get a second half T side, which you will, you're not going to win the map. MIBR, they need to be
ban
careful.
Inferno.
No. I'm trying. I don't want to keep jumping to maps.
Yeah,
I think they need to be more. Their mid round needs to be much better. A lot of the rounds they're winning is like early round getting 2 opening picks and chilling, and then even then those rounds get close. I think their mid round decision making and plays needs to be much better. I can't really fault their T side. It's not awful. It's not good though. It's like a middle ground type of thing. Their CT side has definitely come in handy. I feel like I'm a broken record when I say, oh, this team's CT side has come in handy. But that's just how the game is right now. The game itself is CT sided. Like, the only map, I think, in the whole major that has been even somewhat T-sided is Cash, and it was only by, like, 3%, I heard. Like, it was only, like, 3% of the round. Like, 53% of the rounds won were on T-side type shit. So it's the only map that's T-side is actually being beneficial. But, yeah, Navi, go.
Electronic needs to show up. Electronic needs to do something this event in order for them to make it far. I think, like, cause Simple will always be there, but Electronic is the one that I have questions about. He needs to show up in order for them to like win some of these big games. It can't always be Flamey because he doesn't do.
All right.
What was the question? Sorry.
I was gonna say one thing that they can't allow happen.
They can't. Like, I don't know, man. It's hard to tell with that team.
I get you. Yeah, I got the one thing that cannot happen in general. Question is kind of like weird.
They can't fucking let Zeus take the AK with Simple. Okay, fucking hate that shit. That pisses me off.
I know. I think it pisses everyone off in all honesty. Unless you're one of the fuckers who says, "Oh, well, Simple can do it with a Deagle, so Zeus has the handicap." No, fuck you. Imagine what Simple can do with an AK.
I know. I hate that. Hate that, man. That's what like Zeus is like literally.
If Zeus can't do it with an AK against other fucking rifles, why would he be able to do it on an eco round?
So Zeus is literally the. He needs to call something, like.
I don't know. I feel like I agree with you 100%, and that would probably be my one thing that needs to happen pretty much. I want to say like you need to have one of those matches where Zeus actually shows up, but I feel like that's too easy to say.
No, not like performance wise, but he just calls some good strats. Like I don't want to see what I saw in that little tournament against North. I don't want to see that.
Yeah. I don't think he cares at this point, in all honesty.
Yeah, I think he's done.
But FaZe, go. Rants, boy.
They. Oh man, I don't even know. One thing they need to do. The one thing they need to do, they can't even do so. like man, I can't. Like they're just so bad strategically. They need to have a really good CT. Like they need to have good CTs in order to win games. I think if they don't have a good CT side on any other map besides that, I think they're fucked.
Yeah. I agree, but I'm not going to take it that route. I think as a team, they need to collectively show up, which I feel like yes, that's easier said than done. But as a team like FaZe, like I feel like you can say that with any team, they need to collectively show up. But when FaZe is so reliant on the individual performance, like not even just this iteration where they don't have the strats to do it, like
Mm-hmm.
every iteration of FaZe has been so skill reliant that that's just what needs to happen. That's their win con. Like Nico's been going off for the most part all event. I think the only time he really didn't was their loss on Cash to Complexity. He had a little slow start in that game. He ended up going off on Dust 2. By the way, he's been going off on Dust 2. That's what makes me think their map pick is going to be Dust 2 even more. Like their consistent go-to. But yeah, I think that they all need to show up because Guardian, like, it's just not happening at the same time. Like today, Olaf finally went off, but Guardian wasn't fucking hitting. Again, Dust 2 was more of a situation of he's not seeing anyone, but he needs to start going off and finding people. If you're not seeing
Mm-hmm.
anyone, you need to go find people if you're Guardian. You need to make plays happen. If Nico, Olaf, and Guardian are all going off, it's fucking GG.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could very easily win this tournament when you have a Nico, Olaf, and Guardian going off.
I think they're definitely a dark horse in this tournament. Like, definitely just pop off and everything could align and they could win.
I would even call him a dark horse. I would just call him a low-lying favorite. Because they're in the top half, in my eyes, of teams that could win this. They're in the top 4. I think it's Astralis, Liquid, Navi, FaZe, honestly. And then you have Renegades, MIBR, and Ents, and Nip underneath that. But one thing that they can't allow happen, this is more very specific, and it is driving me fucking crazy. I was talking about it earlier, and I just completely slipped my mind. But they're going to play Mirage, especially against Navi. Mirage will be in that map pool. For the love of God, put Guardian in middle, take Nico out of window, and stop making him play it passively. I have never seen it played like that before, and it's not working. Do you know how many times I've seen them get flanked out from CT because they give up window so much? Half the rounds when I saw them play a Vanguard on it, oh my god, I wanted to put a bullet in my brain. He kept sitting outside window in CT spawn, and as soon as he would rotate off, someone would walk through and fucking go through on the flank because he plays it passively. They don't put anyone in window. They give up mid control in the middle of the round, and it is so hard to play that map if you're giving up mid control. So in a map that you're going to see a lot, being one of the most popular, being fucking Mirage, FaZe needs to figure out their CT side. Because it's just, their T side on the map isn't bad. Their CT side is bad. Because they're playing like that. Like, Mirage, they were the best team in the world on Mirage.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't let
And
that happen.
Cash. What happened to their fucking Cash, man?
I don't
God,
know.
They
They
used to
got
be so good on Cash.
They got slaughtered by Mouse Sports at one event a while ago, and it's never been the same since.
I think it's just. I think Kerrigan should have never left, but whatever. Egos are egos, I guess.
Whatever. And one thing that needs to happen, one thing that can't happen.
Sergey needs to show up because he hasn't really been having a good tournament, and that's one of the main reasons they've been struggling.
100%.
This guy needs to, and you know what? Fair play. If he doesn't, everyone can get those. He's still like 16 years old. He's legit a rookie. I don't really think, you know what, you can put a lot of pressure on him like that, especially this team. I think they've done enough. I think they've done good, like just making legend stage.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if they want to go far, and when I say go far, I mean make it to the next round again.
Yeah, I know.
Sergey's got to show up.
I agree. I feel like there isn't anything you can specifically say for something they can't let happen. Because I feel like for this team to beat Liquid, everything needs to go right. So
Yeah,
you
the
would
stars
have to
need
say
to fucking
something
align.
that can't happen is they can't play bad. Like, it's as simple as that.
Something that needs to happen every. Like,
They just don't know. Like, this team needs a fucking miracle to make it. I think they're the least likely team to win this.
yeah, I agree.
All right, Liquid.
I don't even know what needs to go good. Then, man, they've looked really good.
For Liquid, I'd say, as a team, I haven't watched any of their matches. That's the issue.
I don't know, man. I have really nothing to say about.
They've had a lot of
kind of
close
like
games.
Astralis. They're like Astralis in that sense.
I'm realizing they've had hella close games actually. 16-12 versus Vanguard, 16-13 versus Nip, a 16-14 versus Navi, and a 16-9 on their map pick versus Navi. They've had some close games.
They
But
have, yeah.
so I think from what I'm looking at, hold on. Like again, broken record. I feel like actually, you know what? I think they just need to explode off the beginning of a game. I think they need to come out, win a pistol, and put a team on a fucking 4-0, 5-0 loss after winning the first rifle round. Because they're not getting these good starts, and they're having really close halves. And that's why they have to grind out in the second half. By all means, they're making that grind happen, but they need to have better first opening halves, in my eyes. And one thing they can't let happen is
choke.
Pretty much.
They can't choke.
Choke a lot. As soon as they come across a team, because of all teams, it's gonna happen here. Like FaZe, Navi. As soon as they come across a team that doesn't let them come back in the second half, a team that can get off to a good start in the second half, and take momentum and ride it, this team's gonna lose.
Yeah.
Like, if they've been so reliant on their second half. So I think that's one thing they can't let happen. They can't let they just can't slip up on the form they have. Like, if they slip up any worse than what they are now, they're done. I think they're borderline right now, which they really are. 16-12 of Vanguard, 16-13 Nip, 16-14 Navi, and a 16-9 Navi. I don't know. But, we're pushing over an hour, I'm pretty sure. We'll start to wrap it up.
Fuck, dude, I think we're like an hour and a half in. Like, I think we've gone pretty far hard.
Quite there, but yeah, I think we'll just wrap it up real quick. Give me, I want a favorite, a dark horse, and a middle of the ground team that could with just if they play their game, they'll win.
So favorite is Astralis.
Mm-hmm.
Dark horse.
Like a legitimate dark horse that you think could make it through.
I think I know you don't think FaZe is, but I do. So I'm gonna say FaZe is my dark horse, and I think middle. I think Navi.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna agree with you on the favorite, Astralis. My dark horse is actually going to be NIP in this case. I think for them to win this, they're gonna obviously have to come out swinging against Astralis. I think that just they're already put at a disadvantage having to be Astralis first, and that's what makes them a dark horse in my eyes. And in the middle of the ground, I'm gonna go with FaZe. I think FaZe, like I said, if they show up, they do their shit. They should breeze by Navi in their current form, no problem, and I think they could expose Liquid.
I'm gonna agree. FaZe could either be the best team in this tournament, in this playoffs, or the worst. Mm-hmm. Literally,
I completely agree. And anything in between too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Our next episode will probably come out within the days following the major, so expect that next week. Yeah, we'll start focusing on post-major things we expect to come out of that. Like roster moves, all that shit, anything we think related to post-major, any big news that might come out in that time. We might wait a few days to see if any roster moves start to form. Just a little more interest, more over speculation in the next episode. But in the meantime, you'll probably see a few games up. Hopefully, we'll start getting those up soon. You'll start seeing more people on the channel. You might see Hueve if Jushi gets on. You might see some Jushi. You'll see a bunch of people coming to chill on our quote-unquote group YouTube channel, TheBestDudes. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed our first episode. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see y'all later.